Yeah.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome in, everybody. It's Alarm Fantasy Football. I am Howard Bender. Andrew Cooper here with me. And oh, baby, NFL Week 10 is here. Thursday Night Football is tonight.
Yes.
And we know that you guys have some serious fantasy football lineup questions you need answered. So get those start sits into the chat. If you're watching us here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page, please hit that like and subscribe button, both of them. And make sure you join up here with the family. We always love having you guys in here. I already see Fatty McFat's in there. What's up? We got so much to talk about here. But Coop, while we let them fill up those chat questions for us, all those start sits, let's talk a little Thursday Night Football now. We know that Justin Fields is not expected to play. We're hearing now that Khalil Herbert not expected to play. Maybe that flips around a little Deonta Foreman for us. Brian Burns is producing the show here, so he will not be playing tonight in that game. And DJ Chark listed as doubtful. Coop, what are you thinking about this game?
Yeah, the word on the street is that there will be no Chark either. So listed as doubtful, but the sentiment is not one of those that, he could play. Like it's pretty much a not going to play. So, I mean, some names that we had written off, Geno Smith style, might be writing back right now. You look at Terrace Marshall, right? Like, so if there's going to be no DJ Chark, who they split the snaps, why wouldn't Terrace Marshall play most of the game? I'm pretty sure Laviska Shenault is also going to be out. So maybe a DFS showdown toss in. And then, of course, it's going to be Roschon and Deonta Foreman again. If you can run the football, Foreman's the option. If they're going to throw the ball, then maybe Roschon. I don't know. What do you think on that one, Howard? It seems like a pretty clear split. It's kind of like the Derrick Henry, Tajay Sharp, where Deonta Foreman, they just do not want to throw him the ball. So if you like the Bears to win, which they are technically favored, then you like Foreman. If not, you like Roschon.
Well, I mean, listen, from what we know about the Carolina defense and where the weaknesses are the most, they like to run the football. You run the football against the Panthers. Yes, you have been able to pass against the Panthers extensively here, but I think that if you're looking at this game in two facets for me, right? Like number one, yes, I would use Deonta Foreman over Roschon Johnson because I do feel like he will run the football more. The thing about it is, like in the passing game for the Bears, I think there's going to be a huge focus here on DJ Moore. Obviously, we can talk about the revenge game narrative. Like what I've cited, and I've got articles all over Fantasy Alarm that kind of talk about this. Like people, this game here, these are the two teams who back in March traded like the number one overall pick, DJ Moore, several other picks were involved in this one. So to me, when I look at this game, Coop, it's like Bryce Young wants to prove to the Bears that they made a mistake by not taking him. And DJ Moore wants to show up his former team being like, well, I hope you're enjoying, Jonathan Mingo and the other side pieces that they've got there. You could have had me and Adam Thielen running around there. So, I think that there's elements on both sides of it that I like for both fantasy and for betting and DFS as well.
Yeah, knowing DJ Moore, he's definitely going to have a bit of a chip on his shoulder. I always think that when I think about his time with the Panthers, the thing that sticks out in my mind is, do you ever see the clip of him and Steve Smith in practice? And Steve Smith being the Joker he's got his phone out and he's like talking to everybody around, standing right next to DJ Moore going, who do I start this week? He's like, I can't start DJ Moore. Like, he's not a real wide receiver yet. Like, just a little, and DJ Moore's like, start me, dude. Come on. Like little things like that I know, like you trade a guy away, you don't believe in him. He's going to want to come back and show out. So yeah, if I'm doing showdown slate, I'm getting DJ Moore in there, man, just on that narrative alone. And, when it comes to narrative, it also helps when it's a really good player, right?
Well, I mean, there are certain things that are kind of going along with it. Like I love, and listen, you guys can check the article out there. You can listen to me on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. I'll be talking about more breakdowns of this game, certain props that I like and things like that. DJ Moore, Adam Thielen, I love them both in this matchup here. I'm now that I know that no Khalil Herbert, I'm more bullish on Deonta Foreman. And you know who I actually like Chuba Hubbard in this realm. Like we've seen, the Bears pass rush, it's a solid pass rush, right? And now they've added Montez Sweat. So all of a sudden it becomes a little bit more difficult to run on the Chicago Bears. However, they rank 31st in DVOA against running back pass plays. They're giving up almost 60 yards per game to that on that front. So I'm like, Chuba Hubbard at 13 and a half receiving yards. I'll take that.
Not to mention Montez Sweat, of course, coming in, but he's a pass rusher. You look at JJ Watt, he doesn't really have a ton of tackles himself. And the other thing with these guys is that Montez Sweat, they're going to tell him go out there, get after the quarterback, but he might not know all of his assignments. He might not know when, sometimes when you're new to a team, new to a playbook, you come off the sideline and they say, hey, you were supposed to have D gap there, or you're supposed to drop back into the flat. So Montez Sweat coming in, I mean, there's a high chance that at some point, maybe he does make a mistake or two, right?
Yeah, I think there is probably a high percentage chance that he does make that mistake. Yeah, at least one.
Yeah.
At least one. All right.
There's also a high percentage chance that he gets a hold of Bryce Young at some point, though, too.
Oh, yeah, he's, I mean, what's his sack prop at?
It's at half. Johnny and Pemba filling in on this show earlier this week. That's what. Oh, actually, no, it was yesterday. He took that one, and that's where it's sitting on the dog as well. And I'm sure we'll get into some underdog plays at some point today too, right?
Well, I mean, do you have plays for tonight's action?
Oh, I do.
Then I'll tell you what. Let's shout it out to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy and thank them so much for giving us such a fantastic contest here and all sorts of great stuff. You guys. You can scan the QR code that's about to pop up on the screen for Underdog Fantasy if you want to jump in that way, or just go to fantasyalarm.com/underdog. Use the promo code ALARM. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. So it's an immediate instant deposit match to $100. There's the QR code right there. Do me a favor. You can scan that, jump in on that one there. They're featured like little gimme. Bryce Young, half a yard. I feel confident in the fact that you can say higher than half a yard for Bryce Young in this matchup, especially because I've got money on a Adam Thielen anytime touchdown. Ooh, have I said too much? That's not even my underdog call here with Adam Thielen. Coop, why don't you tell us what you've got first?
Yeah. So we've been crushing it with our tackle monster props. We got a little cute with it last week. I mean, I swear, every time I hover my mouse over the tackle monster, Underdog sees it. They go in and juice it up because we've been crushing them on that. I think we've hit on everyone but two. I mean, it's been 9 weeks. So we're doing pretty well with that. We went with JJ Watt last week, who only had 2 tackles. We needed 3. No big deal, because we're going back to the well. We're going back to the well that's been working for us, which is these linebackers that come out and have monster games. And they got one. They got one over there in TJ Edwards. You look at what he's been doing this year as far as combined tackles. So the number is 9 combined tackles, which is solo plus assists. I mean, he's hit that in pretty much every game except for one, right? And like last week, he came out, had 15 combined tackles. So TJ Edwards, number 53 out there, lock him in. And I'll tell you guys, if you guys haven't joined us to do this game before, it's so much fun. If you don't play IDP, it's so much fun to just sit there watching this guy on defense and being like, 53, that's my guy. He's an animal. And when he gets him, it's wild, right? And most people, they watch like a 1 yard run up the middle and they're like, oh, whatever, non-play. But when it's your guy making the tackle, you're like, yeah, let's go. You flip the coffee table, you scare your wife. So TJ Edwards. Oh,
your poor coffee table. I feel so bad for your coffee table at home.
Yeah, no, it's been through the ringer, let me tell you, man. But I'm saying this guy tonight, like, so you go through the numbers. This year, he has games of combined tackles. We need more than 9. He's had games of 15, 13, 10, 17, 12, 14. 2 of the other games are 9 and 8. One game he randomly just had 2 tackles, and it was because the Raiders just had to throw all game long. I'm throwing that one away. This guy's getting the tackles. Let's go, TJ Edwards, baby. Yeah.
I love it. All right, I'm going to pair that with the Bryce Young higher than half a yard. And then I'm going to throw in this one here, DJ Moore. We've been talking about him, right? 4.5 receptions. I'm going higher for DJ Moore. Now he's hit the higher mark in 5 out of 9 games this season already. And while yes, he's gone below that mark in each of his last 2, this is a game for DJ Moore. CJ Henderson is out. Von Bell questionable. Xavier Woods questionable. The secondary continues to have issues for the Carolina Panthers. And I think that with the revenge game narrative in mind, I would say that DJ Moore higher than 4.5 receptions for me.
That's great. I didn't realize they had those other injuries that just popped up because they're still missing JC Horn, right? They're still missing Jeremy Chin. I mean, like, are they just pulling guys out of the stands at this point to play corner for that team?
My uncle actually got a call. He lives down in the Carolina area. He got a call because he's 6'2". And they were like, well, you're tall enough to be a defensive back. Could you help us out?
There you go, dude. DJ Moore versus Uncle Bender. 4.5 receptions higher. Let's go, baby.
All right. So there you go. Shout out again, our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. If you don't scan QR codes, and there's a little mistake here. It says up to 500 on the computer screen here. It is 100 now. It is back down to $100. That 500 was a limited time only. So I don't want you all to get confused here. I'm telling you right now, it's $100. FantasyAlarm.com/underdog, promo code alarm. Let's move on over. Oh, look, he's already updated. It's already updated.
Technology, dude. Technology.
You gotta love and respect Brian Burns, don't you?
That's right, dude. He's the best.
Even with he deserved better.
What is that? It was like deep fried, dude.
I don't know.
Brian Burns, that guy's a winner.
Yeah, he's
even that guy's a wiener.
Even with the concussion and a banged up elbow, Brian Burns can still manage to fix the promo code. What a guy.
What a guy.
I cannot say enough about Brian Burns.
Coop, do you want to dive into some NFL news and notes? Do you want to hit the chat? Where do you want to go today?
Let's hit the you know I'm a sucker for the chat, baby. The chat's undefeated. Let's hit the chat real quick and just kind of clear the deck to some degree, and then we'll hit some news and notes, and then, of course, we'll probably come back to the chat again. So we don't want to make people wait too long. Alex Flores, shout out Alex Flores. He was in here before the show. That's the cheat code to get your question answered first. Throw those notifications on. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Alex Flores gets the first question because he was in here 4 minutes before the show even started. Right.
And what question is that, Coop?
That's what's up, boys? Who do I flex? Najee Harris, Donta Foreman, or Zay Flowers?
Well, I mean, with Khalil kind of leaning on Donta Foreman here.
Yeah, for sure. Because Najee and Warren, I know Najee gets slightly more work, but it's been a pretty even split. And Zay Flowers, man, he's one of those ones where we fell victim to some degree to the early season hype, where he came out firing on all cylinders. Last few weeks, it's been pretty rough for Zay. So, yeah, I'm going to go Foreman. Great matchup for him.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Well, let's move through here. Dylan Fink wants Hollywood Brown or James Cook in the flex, full point PPR.
I'm going for it, man. I'm going Hollywood. First game back with Kyler Murray. Hollywood's been a focal point of this offense. Michael Wilson still banged up a little bit. I think he might play this week, but I don't see how Kyler Murray in his first game back doesn't go back to his old friend Hollywood. Last year with Kyler Murray, he was getting like 15 targets at times at games, 10, 15. So, yeah, I'm going to go there. James Cook, he's been giving up high leverage plays to Latavius Murray. And what I mean by that is, think about what plays give us the most fantasy points, right? 2-minute drill. 2-minute drill situations where you can catch 2-3 passes in a short stint. Goal line, right? Where you obviously, if you score a touchdown, it's 6 points, right? Like Latavius Murray's taking those plays away, it hurts, right? So give me Hollywood.
I like it. Dylan's also trying to make some trades before the deadline. Curious about some buy lows. He says he likes a guy like Bijan. I think Bijan is definitely a guy who's a buy low. I think you and I are like all things Bengals, right?
Right. Yeah, we're in on that, man. We're going to get him. Be a little wary of T. Higgins. So T. Higgins suffered a hamstring injury yesterday in practice, and also Jamar Chase didn't practice with a back. Now, I kind of dug around a little bit to see what people are thinking, what they're saying, and they say that Jamar Chase trending towards playing. T. Higgins, we need more information because the injury is so new. So be careful with that. But Dylan, if you check out our show from yesterday, we talked about some buy lows. Bijan, interesting. Joe Mixon, interesting. Tony Pollard, right? We're kind of going for these guys that are getting the full workload because down the stretch, you need to put together 3 games in your fantasy playoffs. Bing, bang, boom. You need consistency. Tony Pollard's been consistent and he's going to have big games, right? Even a guy like Rachaad White, if you stuck with him all along, he's been getting the work. It finally paid off this past week. So we're looking for usage there. And those 2 guys, especially Mixon and Pollard, we're going for.
Yeah, love it. Excellent reminder there. Graham Edwards in the house here, full point PP. He wants us to rank players, which is we'll do that for you. Graham, let me assure you that if you go to fantasyalarm.com, Coop puts the weekly rankings in there like every Tuesday, and then he updates them throughout the entire week based on injury news and who's in and who's out. So if you go over to fantasyalarm.com and you can find a player rank, in the NFL menus over there. All right. Let's go back to the chat. Where am I? All right. So rank these guys: Aaron Jones, Saquon Barkley, Ramondre Stevenson.
For this week, I have them ranked. Aaron Jones, 1. He looked great last week, got a great matchup. He's one of my plays of the week. If anyone watched the show on Tuesday, I had Aaron Jones as one of my underdog picks. So if you took all the picks from this week, stacked them all up, you can make a lot of money. Aaron Jones, I like. Ramondre Stevenson versus the Colts is where I'm going next. He looked good last week. You can run on the Colts. And Saquon, I mean, it's not a matter of Saquon's usage being bad. It's not a matter of us not liking Saquon. It's a matter of Tommy DeVito being the quarterback. At the end of the day, I just don't trust this team to do anything. The implied total, when you talk about the over-under of the game, plus, and you look at the fact that they're 16-point dogs, Vegas expects them to score 11 points. So Saquon is as scary as it gets this week.
Yeah, until the Giants turn around and say that they're going to line up 8 or 9 dudes on the line, right? And then Saquon in the Wildcat formation is the only guy in the backfield and maybe 1 wide receiver somewhere. It's really what we're kind of looking at over there. Dylan's team, here he goes. So the team that he's looking to kind of improve on: Stroud, Dobbs, Pollard, Mixon, Cook, Herbert, Hunt, and Spears, Diggs, Ayuk, Hollywood. Dylan, this team is rock solid. Andrews and McBride as your tight ends. I don't necessarily think that you really even need to make a trade here.
Yeah, I mean, you're loaded up and ready for the stretch. If you wanted to make a move, then maybe you can trade McBride because there is a lot of hype around McBride, but you're probably not going to start him that much with Andrews, and he also still has his bye week 13. So maybe try and pair McBride with somebody and upgrade. But you already have Pollard and Mixon, the 2 guys we said to go get. So can't really. I mean, it's like you've already stocked up on the buy low guys, and I think you're ready to cruise.
Yeah, I think you're okay. I think you're all right. All right, let's keep going here. Need to drop. Ann Dunn in the house. Hello, Ann.
What's up, Ann?
Need to drop 1 to pick up a wide receiver. Dropping Roshan Johnson, Brian Robinson, Leonard Fournette, Dallas Goedert, unless he goes on IR. I'm just dumping Goddard. I mean, yeah. Did you see that? We talked about that, right? That was like Ricky Bobby, like.
I don't want to think about it, dude. It was pretty bad, man. And yeah, I would just try and wait. Because the thing is, on Thursday and Friday and Saturday, people in your league really aren't digging around and adding a bunch of guys. So if you can just wait another day or so to see if he can go on IR and you can move him into an IR spot, then I would try and do that first. Like, is someone going to swoop in and pick up the wide receiver you want over the next 24, 48 hours? I don't think so. So I would wait. But yeah, if it comes down to it, just drop Goddard.
Yeah, agreed. All right, AA in here. Half point PPR. Am I starting Michael Wilson or Keaton Mitchell over DeAndre Hopkins or Christian Kirk?
Nah. You don't got to go there, man. Wilson's been banged up, and Keaton Mitchell is just an idea still. Whereas Hopkins and Kirk are in good spots.
All right, Lex Plant Some Trees says, hope y'all are doing all right today. We are. Thank you for asking. Would y'all do White and Stroud for Josh Allen? He's already got Pollard, Bijan, Breece Hall, and Jalen Warren along with Rachaad White.
I think I would actually, because how often are you going to start Rachaad White, man?
And look at over Pollard or Breece or even Bijan? Probably never.
Probably never. And looking at your wide receivers, let's say Pollard, Bijan, or Brees go down, like you're probably not even going to start Jalen Warren. You're going to start another wide receiver, right? So I think you're looking pretty good, man. I think you could do that and consolidate.
Agreed.
Josh Allen is the QB1, right? This year?
Probably.
I think he is.
Probably. All right. Toronto Dave in the house here. Tight end premium, full point PPR, tight end premium, obviously, 1.5. Start one. David Njoku, Rashid Shaheed, or Hunter Henry.
Shout out to the Toronto area. Toronto Dave in the house. But so I don't love the matchup for Njoku, but I still don't quite trust Hunter Henry. We love when the Hunter gets in the head house, but I think I'm still just going to start Njoku. He's been pretty damn solid lately, man.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Not to mention the day after he got burned and he like showed up at the game was like the biggest badass in the world.
And he played awesome. So
and he played really well.
Yeah. Gained a lot of points with me with that game.
And Dunn wants to know, is there any way she can start Miles Sanders tonight? There is a way you can start Miles Sanders if you feel like losing.
Right. I mean, I'm a biggest Miles Sanders fan out here, but you know who isn't is Deuce Staley, the running backs coach for the Panthers. So if he doesn't like him, then what are we going to do?
They were though. That's the problem, Coop. They were such big fans of his back.
I know.
Preseason.
That's why it hurts, dude. That's why it hurts. But so he did carve out a little bit of a role last week, got 5 targets, but only on 11 routes. Until we see that, it has to at least hit even for us to say, okay, we're going Sanders. For now, it's just Chuba. So can't do it, man.
Can't do it. Let's see. Sean 123's here. What's up, Sean? Good to see you again. Full point PPR. Pick one. DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, or Cortland Sutton. I mean, I don't know how you sit DJ Moore in a revenge game narrative against the Panthers, who are weak.
Yeah, Panthers big time, missing a lot of guys on the secondary. So yeah, it's DJ Moore. Have some fun.
Yeah. Rod Elliott digs a little bit deeper here. Mingo tonight or Osborne on Sunday?
Goodness. I can't believe Osborne's going to play after that hit.
I was just going to say after that hit, but he got up. He like walked off under his own power after that hit.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Mingo. DJ Chark's out, so Mingo is kind of locked into that second chair. So I think I do like Mingo.
Stephen Fagan in here. He says, start 3. So who's the odd man out here, Coop? Ayuk, Addison, DJ Moore, or Tyler Lockett?
Okay, so Ayuk is going to be in for me against the Jaguars for sure.
So is DJ Moore is in for me.
Yeah, and then you got Lockett, the Seahawks. Where did the Seahawks got this week?
They are at home hosting the Washington Commanders. How do you sit anybody against the Commanders?
I think that's what I'm doing. And the problem you're going to run into with Addison is it's not that we don't love Joshua Dobbs, we do, but he's going to run up against Marshawn Lattimore with the Saints. So I would throw Addison on the bench for this one.
Yep. Sean wants to know if not Mingo, what about Darnell Mooney?
I think Moondog's been having a hard time. I think
Mooney was last week, and only last week because he was going up against Alontae Taylor.
Right. And the thing with Mooney, if you watch him out there, it's Alontae Taylor, our boy. If you watch Mooney out there, I think some of these like high ankle sprains are worse than others. Like Darren McFadden, the one he had was so bad he like never came back from it. I think Mooney is having a hard time really getting back to full speed after the high ankle sprain he had last year. That was basically broke his leg, and he had to have tightrope surgery and all that. So I think Moondog is like not 100%.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to throw a semi wrinkle in here, and anybody out there, you might want to go and search your waiver wire for this one. But Coop, he's asking about Mingo. He's asking about Osborne. Could you, with a Brandon Powell, knowing that he's going up against Alontae Taylor?
It's definitely. I'm fully with you. I got in with you on the props. Is Underdog, dude? I swear, Underdog won't give us props they wouldn't give us tackle props for Alontae Taylor, and they like won't give us props for him for guys going up against him. Did they actually give us one yet? for Brandon Powell?
Here, I'll scroll through right now and look to see if because they weren't up yesterday, and you kind of expect that, but yeah, here we go. Minnesota Vikings. I see something for Madison, Hawkinson, Greg Joseph, Jordan Hicks, Daniel Hunter, Cameron Bynum, Harrison Smith, and DJ Wanham. So
Cowards,
we'll be checking this out a little bit closer to closer to Sunday. Look for my best bets article over at fantasyalarm.com. I will sniff out a Brandon Powell.
We got our eyes on you, underdog. You got a line. You got a pick him up there for Cameron Bynum, but you can't give us a Brandon Powell. Come on now. We know what you're doing. We see you, baby. We love you, but we see you.
Angie Hadfield in the house. What's up, Gridiron Angie? Always great to talk to you. Need 2 PPR: Moss, Spears, Charbonnet, Sanders.
Go. Great googly moogly. I think honestly at this stage of the game, you got to go with Zach Charbonnet, especially because yesterday. I'm interested what happens today. I'm not sure if the news is out or not. I know it's West Coast. Well, and the game is on the West Coast, so probably haven't practiced just yet. But Kenneth Walker didn't practice yesterday. He's got a chest issue, and Charbonnet was already taking away the pass downs. So I think I trust Charbs the most out of that crew.
So all right, so we'll start Charbonnet. Now the question is,
2? Oh my goodness.
I mean, I'm gonna lean Moss only because we've seen the Colts not take him out of the game plan.
Yep, exactly. And Patriots have been very, very beatable.
Freddie Ramirez wants to know, would you do Saquon, Mostert, and Mike Evans for Kupp and Bijan?
Oh, I mean, the thing is, if you're trading Saquon, Mostert, and Evans, you should be able to get more reliable pieces back. Yeah. I'm really worried about the thumb for Matthew Stafford. They're signing Carson Wentz to, I know it was only like $1 million, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I would do that. I think I would just stick with what you have.
Yeah, I would just stick with what you have here as well. All right, let's see. Toronto Dave said, great job, Coop, tackling that. I'm sure that was the Tackle Monster drop.
There we go. Yeah.
Coop, get your Coop, get your Twitch glasses on here, because we've got War Eagle 2017-8 says, should I start James Conner if he plays Sunday?
Well, War Eagle, you got to let us know who else you got. But I do lean towards James Conner because I like James Conner. He's a good player whenever he plays. Yeah, Howard, I saw you wearing the Twitch glasses on the show before this, brother.
I had to put them in to do the mom face for everybody.
Yeah, that's right. I got to tell you, Howard, I love the show. I had to actually jump out of the chat for your show, the episode before this, because I wasn't getting any of my work done. I was like trying to write my DFS, my tight end article, and I realized I was just in the chat on your show going, "Oh, Bruce Bowen, I hate him. Like Sean Avery, I hate him." I had to recuse myself from the chat so I could get some stuff done. But
You're fired.
I did get my tight end DFS article done and in, so that will be up shortly over on Fantasy Alarm. And there's some nice plays this week, so check that out.
Good job. All right. Back to the chat and done. And thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. Mark Brownstein. Brownie's just such an awesome dude too. Yeah. So if you guys, if you're into the jam band scene at all, even if you're not into the jam band scene, the lights, the production, everything that they bring to the table is always so amazing. So amazing. Ann wants to know, play Las Vegas. What was that?
I think that was Burns with the bong hit sounder.
Oh,
the jam bands.
Smoke them if you got them, people.
There you go.
You want to get high?
Do you?
Hey, there you go. There it is.
I love it.
Yeah, I know you do. Should Ann play the Las Vegas Raiders defense or drop for either Seattle, Cincinnati, or Chicago tonight?
Okay.
Against the Jets.
I lost where we were in the chat, to be honest with you.
I'm here. So Las Vegas defense versus the Jets, or Seattle against Washington, or Cincinnati is going up against Houston, or the Bears against the Panthers.
Yeah, I don't want any part of the Bengals CJ Stroud after what we saw last week. That was scary times. I think I might go with Chicago. I think I like Chicago. It's either Vegas versus the Jets or Chicago, but I think I kind of like Chicago tonight versus the Panthers.
I'd probably just stick with Las Vegas. I think tonight has a very sneaky, like I'm on the over for tonight's game. Over's 38 and a half. And this to me, this game could be like a 23-20 type of a situation here. Maybe it's, even though it's like a I don't know, like a 21-17 sort of a situation. Like I think that we're looking at some points scored in this one here. I honestly, even against the Raiders defense, don't know if the Jets offense can do anything with Nathaniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator.
Right, exactly. Did you see Michael Kay asked Robert Saleh straight up? He said straight up, he goes, "Why not give Trevor Siemian a try over Zach Wilson at QB?" And did you hear what Saleh responded with?
No, what did he say?
He said, he paused, and then he goes, "I don't know. You got me. I'm going to plead the fifth on this one."
See, again, and I even think the problem is that, I mean, what's Solly gonna do? Is he gonna shoot his quarterback in the foot here and just kind of give him a massive confidence problem the rest of the way, or does he throw his offensive coordinator under the bus and say, you know what, freaking Hackett's the one who's running this offense, so I think if I'm gonna replace anybody, it's gonna be him. But of course, I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is like, you can't fire my guy. I won't come back this year if you fire my guy.
Exactly, dude. And the thing with Robert Saleh is that he's a defensive-minded coach, and the defense has been awesome. So, I mean, like, can you really kill Saleh for that? It's like he brings in this guy to handle the part of the team that he's not strong with, right? And it's like now they're asking him to be like, okay, you got to fix this side of the ball when his side of the ball is amazing. Right. So I don't know. I don't really blame Saleh for any of it at this point.
I don't blame Saleh at all. I think that I feel like to a certain extent, his hands are tied with regard to getting rid of Nathaniel Hackett and, because of Aaron Rodgers being there. And Joe Douglas isn't going to make that move either, because if there is any kind of a possibility that Aaron Rodgers comes back, if the Jets can hang out in the playoff, race, then they're not going to want to do. They're going to want Rodgers back, and Rodgers, I guarantee you, Rodgers is like, you can't fire my guy. Like that's the problem.
Yeah, for sure. So.
Way to go, Jets!
Jetsing it up again.
It's like the whole organization just giving it a And Dunn needs 2 in a PPR. Deonta Foreman, Tyler Algier, Zach Moss, Michael Gallup, Tyler Conklin. It is tight end premium.
Yeah, still not.
Foreman for me is one.
No Conklin, man. The thing with Conklin is he's been rotating with these other guys, Uzoma and Jeremy Ruckert. I mean, then those other guys have been playing even worse than he has. But just that rotation alone makes it impossible to start him. So I think I'm going to go with Deonta Foreman and Zach Moss.
Deonta Foreman and Zach Moss. I like that. And that's where I would go as well. Shaw123 says also Jalen Warren, or do I risk it and go Keaton Mitchell? Where was that question? No, we're saying go with shit. I lost it already.
Oh, is it part of the same question?
Is it part of this whole PPR? Well, he had a PPR pick one between Moore and those guys. Then he had a Mingo tonight, or should he go Darnell Mooney? We said Mingo, and now he's saying he can mix Jalen Warren into it.
Yeah, no, start Jalen. Also, Jalen Warren. If the question is simply Jalen Warren or Keaton Mitchell, I'm starting Jalen Warren. I want to have Keaton Mitchell on my benches, and I don't want him anywhere near my lineups. This is a complete wild card. Let's see what happens type situation with Keaton Mitchell. So I want to have him, but I just really don't trust him to start.
Yeah, I got you. I'm good with that. 2 QB league here. The Smitty in the house.
Hey.
2 QB league, need a QB. Would you trade Nico Collins for Baker Mayfield?
If you need a QB, you got to do what you got to do. Just know that Nico Collins' stats are virtually identical to Jamar Chase's. In fact, Nico's are a little bit better if you play in any sort of PPR. So keep in mind the guy that they're trading away has some pretty good upside. So, but in 2 QB leagues, QBs are king. So if Baker goes right in your lineup, you got to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Jeremy Waltendorf says, or is that Weltendorf? See, I've got my contacts in, not my glasses, so it's tough for me to like see these teeny tiny letters.
Be careful.
Hey, everybody.
I
An old
knew
man's talking.
I said be careful because Burns gonna hit you with the old man drop. It looks like it says Jeremy Wheatendorf.
Oh, okay, Wheatendorf. There it is. All right.
I knew that.
Brian Burns, I hope you get food poisoning. You know what? I hope you get food poisoning. I never wish that on my worst enemies at any point because I know how demeaning and degrading food poisoning can be. I hope you eat some undercooked chicken and it ruins your entire digestive system.
Burns is the best, dude. He don't miss.
Jeremy wants to know: start Taysom or Cole Kmet?
I'm just gonna start Taysom, man.
Me too. Amari Cooper, DJ Moore, or Deontay Johnson?
I'm sorry, Deontay Johnson, man. Deontay Johnson's back, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Also, what do you think of trading Amari Cooper for Devontae Adams?
I know. I like Amari Cooper. I mean, and Deshaun Watson looks like that deep ball is back, baby. You see some of those throws? Our guy Ian Harditz posted a little compilation of every throw over 15 yards that Deshaun Watson threw this week, and they were all Trey Bone. So we like Amari. We just don't like him this week against the Ravens, who have been top 5 or so team versus the past. They're just good this year.
What about trading away Saquon Barkley for Chris Olave and Alexander Madison based off of the playoff schedule?
That I could do. I mean, I'm trading Barkley away because his quarterback is, Danny DeVito.
Doesn't exist.
Right, exactly. It's like, and they're not even trying to. I mean,
maybe we get a little Matt Barkley in there. We get a little Barkley to Barkley.
That'd be nice, man. The Matt Barkley would be nice. Remember when in the Scott Fish Bowl when that dude drafted
Matt Barkley?
Oops. But hey, man, in Superflex leagues, if you're desperate, I mean, Matt Barkley, we always try and stay one step ahead. If every quarterback is rostered, maybe slip Matt Barkley on there because I think we could see him at some point.
Rod Elliott wants to know Kyle Pitts, Luke Musgrave, or Jonnu Smith, who's on waivers.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would probably just start Pitts. I hate it because he doesn't play the full snaps, but Pitts gets Arizona. Luke Musgrave, his role has kind of diminished a little bit, and the Steelers are really not a good matchup, man. Luke Musgrave, difficult to trust. We liked him last week versus the Rams because the Rams are bad versus the tight end, and he caught a touchdown, but I don't really trust Luke Musgrave this week.
I agree. All right. One more here. Kyler or Dobbs from Angie Hatfield. I mean, do we know if Kyler's starting yet? They haven't announced anything, have they?
They trending towards playing. That's the word. I mean, you have the luxury of waiting because Kyler plays at 4. I guess Dobbs does play at 1. I'm playing Kyler.
Kyler it is. 8-team league here for Benjamin Mann. He's got Kamara, Eckler, and Breece Hall with Connor, Achane, and Gibbs on his bench. Which 2 would you package in a trade for a top tight end wide receiver, and who need a tight end badly? Well, all right. So, Ben, who? I mean, it depends on what the rest of your league needs. What you need to do is you need to go around. You need to look at the rest of your league and see, because this is who's deficient at running back, right? And I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So go and take a look at what teams in your league need running backs, badly. And then I would say, listen, I would take, 2 of these guys, like Gibbs and Connor, Gibbs and Kamara, Gibbs and Eckler. That's where I would hold Breece Hall no matter what.
The thing is, Gibbs and Eckler or Gibbs and Kamara, that should be able to get you any player, any tight end in the league, honestly. But the thing is, in 8-man leagues, there might not even be guys out there that would start Achane and Gibbs because every team is loaded. So it's not as easy as just taking your worst 2 RBs and trading them.
Yeah. You have to, and it's just a matter of what everybody else needs.
Right. And I would go for the guys that are like locked in trustworthy rest of season, right? Like I wouldn't go do a crazy trade for like even Kincaid because Knox is coming back. So if you're gonna make a big move or giving away 2 running backs, you need to get Kelsey, Andrews, Laporta, maybe Ingram, even Hawkinson. We got to see him with Dobbs. So I would just make sure you go big. All right.
Yeah. Let's see. Dull Guitar says Dynasty 6-3, huge trade. Traded Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper in a third and a fourth for Olave, T. Higgins, and a first. Thoughts?
That is a huge trade.
That is a big trade.
Diggs, Amari, and a third and fourth for like.
What a shame that T. Higgins just got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I were you at 6-3, I probably would have just stayed with Diggs and Amari. Rest of season, I have Diggs and Amari ahead of Olave and T. Higgins. I usually play to win the game. So long term, you basically traded for the better long term players. Also, the team you traded with, I hope that's not a team that is also like 6-3 and trying to win this year because you just made their team better. And if you lose to that team this year, that's going to hurt. So be very careful with that stuff.
GT Sport wants to know for a tight end this week, McBride, Njoku, Jonnu Smith, Komet, or Hunter Henry, 8-man league.
That's the squad, dude. I'm going with McBride. I like McBride, man. His utilization has been great. Even last week, it was the backup quarterback against a team. The Browns are absolute killers this year. They let up 100 fewer yards to the tight end position than any other team, which is insane. So I'm going with McBride.
Dylan asking again here of like his team, like who to trade in order to get Bijan as a buy low. So I'm scrolling all the way down, going and looking at his team. If you're buying low on Bijan, James Cook, Khalil Herbert,
yeah. Make sure you're
those guys along with Hollywood Brown, maybe.
Yeah, since you're quote unquote buying low, don't include Pollard, Mixon, Diggs, or Ayuk in the trade, or Andrews. So if you can cobble together any of the other options, any of the other guys to do it, then do it. But if you're buying low, then don't give up another buy low candidate like Pollard or Mixon.
Exactly. And Dunn wants to know, play Roshan tonight or Brian Robinson or Singletary on Sunday? I think I'm going B-Rob against Seattle. I mean, I think he still gets the work.
It's definitely not Roshan. I even kind of like Singletary against the Bengals. Singletary looked terrible last week.
Terrible, didn't he? Horrible.
But it's a new week. It's a new week.
Is Dameon Pierce back or no?
Nah. So I'll take a quick second to hit people with some injury updates because I think we're probably going to have a lot of chat rest of the game here. So here's the deal. Kyler Murray expected to play. James Conner and Michael Wilson both returned to practice. Deebo Samuel, a full go at practice. David Montgomery, a full go at practice. And the coach commented that he looked great. Curtis Samuel is back at practice. Not sure if he's a full go, but I mean, this early feels pretty good. Justin Jefferson returned to the practice field, but not been activated yet. I personally don't think he's going to play this week.
Kevin O'Connell's comment the other day about that, or I think it was this morning that he said it, that was thinking that Justin Jefferson was going to play in week 10 might be a little too aggressive.
Yes, bingo. So he's out there kind of working out, which is nice.
Yeah.
Zay Jones limited. With Zay Jones, that doesn't mean anything to me, Howard. He's like, he's always kind of there working out, but he hasn't gone yet. We already mentioned T. Higgins suffered a hamstring injury. And Jamar Chase has a back issue. Today's practice is crucial for those players. So we got to get an update on that. Chat, if you've seen anything on that today, let me know. Brandon Staley was asked about Josh Palmer and his knee sprain. And he basically said, that he said no expectations even after 4 weeks. So Josh Palmer might miss more than just the 4 mandatory weeks for being on IR. Dameon Pierce, Robert Woods, Nico Collins all did not practice. Nico Collins could be a veteran rest day, though, from what I've heard. Kenneth Walker didn't practice with a chest issue. That's about it for injury information.
Cool. Well, we appreciate that. Thank you so much, Coop.
Got it, brother.
The Dino Fontaine, or the Dino Fontaine, however you want to pronounce it, wants to know, would you trade James Cook for Terry McLaurin? I would.
Yep. for sure.
Especially with Leonard Fournette coming in, huh?
Yeah, I like the Dino Fontaine, man. That sounds like a guy that's like in a really like smoky jazz, like underground jazz place with no windows, just kind of hitting all the notes that nobody plays, right?
I saw Dino Fontaine play in Las Vegas at this seedy little dive. He was amazing.
Crooner, Dino Fontaine.
That kind of guy?
That's exactly the kind of guy, dude. Exactly, right? Smokes one of those cigarettes that's like on the stick.
Oh,
you got one.
I know that guy.
Here you go. So I got the cigarette filter here.
That's the.
If you wanted to, this belonged to my grandfather, like from like back in like the 30s. He used this, and he like we found it. And I was like, "Ooh, look at this shit!" And I was like, I keep telling my wife I want to smoke cigarettes again, just so I can use the filter.
Yeah, dude, that's nice luck, dude. That's the old the Cruella de Vil, right?
Exactly, or like Charles Nelson Riley.
There you go, dude. Yeah. Burns, our producer Burns in the chat says reminds me of the Penguin from Batman.
Shout out to Burgess Meredith. Pour one out for him.
Shout out, dude. Love him.
Second Burgess Meredith reference in a 2-week span here on the Alarm Fantasy Football.
Which obliterates the record. I don't know what the record is for the rest of the podcast community, regardless of topic, but that's going to crush the record.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Rod wants to know Pittman, Debo, Myers, Javonte Williams, or David Montgomery needs one wide receiver, one flex. Allow me to go over those names one more time for you here.
Yeah.
Pittman, Debo, Jacoby, Javonte, Monty.
So Debo, I think I'm going to go. I like Pittman. Well, I like Pittman a lot this week. And then I think I'm going to go with Javonte Williams. I just love the way his usage has been trending. I feel like he's back, man. I feel like he's back.
All right. Interesting. No Monty against the Chargers, huh?
Yeah. He's trending in the right direction. That's what they say, but I don't know. Like there's still the possibility that they ease him back in, that they do the split. I think with Javonte Williams, like he's just got the bulk of the work now.
You know what the beautiful thing is, Rod? Well, Rod knows this because Rod's part of the Fantasy Alarm family, and Rod knows that today here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern, Coop and John and Pemba are going to be here answering all of your start-sit questions. Our Discord loaded all the time, and we get tons of questions over there that we always, give our answers to. It might not come in real time, but you'll definitely get answered before Sunday's games. And then let's not forget that on Sunday morning, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern, Britt Flynn, John and Pemba do a lineup show. Coop and I do a show on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio from 10 to 11. And then from 11 to 12, Coop and Pemba do a live stream here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page. So anytime between 9 and noon Eastern, Sunday morning, all lineup questions get answered. Yep. Every single one of them.
And if you've got guys that are like on the fence, whether they're going to play or not, the official inactives for the 1:00 games come out during the middle of John and I's show, the one from 11 to noon. So at 11:30, anyone playing at 1:00, we know for sure if they're going to be active or not. And those questions, we hammer on them all right there. Again, tonight, if you have guys playing tonight and we don't get to your question in the chat, 7 to 8, we'll have all the information and all the inactives for tonight's game too. So we'll be able to hit on all those. So we take care of you guys. We make sure whenever football is coming up, we're right there right before it starts, hitting on everything.
Ann Dunn wants to know, this is the Man Smart Woman Smarter League that I commission but do not participate in, though my darling bride is in here. So Ann does say that she's not playing my wife Deborah this week. So we can answer this one, Carr or Howell?
Howell has been pretty good, man. And with Carr, the thing with Carr's been solid too, but the fact that they bring in a different quarterback for the goal line drives me nuts, man. So I'm going to go Howell. Derek Carr. If they didn't have Taysom Hill, Derek Carr would be a top 6-7 QB. I mean, Howell right now is a top 6-7 QB. So I'm going to go Howell.
Yeah, it's always like Howell's had like 6 straight weeks of at least 18 fantasy points. So
he's dropped back to pass 46 more times than any other quarterback. That's like an entire extra game. Like he is out there huck it, chuck it football, baby. I love that.
I mean, you just have to expect, like, if you start Howell, you just have to expect that he's going to blow for the first half of the game.
Oh, don't watch the game.
Yeah, and then the second half of the game, he's going to light it up. Like that's the MO right there.
You're not going to like it if you actually watch the game. Don't watch the game. Just watch the box score after, and you'll like it.
Gary O says he's looking to pick up a backup tight end for Andrew's week 13 bye week. So, Coop, you got to look all the way into the future here and tell me, which tight end do you prefer, Hunter Henry, Cade Otton, or Jawan Johnson, week 13? Well, I don't even know what the matchup is in week 13.
It's not going to be Jawan Johnson. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, probably not.
They've got that other guy that's so high.
Hunter Henry against the Chargers.
Yeah. And then Cade Otton is also on bye
against Carolina.
Oh, Carolina. Henry, I like so it's gonna be Cade Otton for me for the time being, but I like Henry's usage last week. If that holds again this week, then we might pivot. You got a little bit of time, but for now, Cade Otton is the guy that should be held on your roster if you're going to add anybody. But this is an important week for Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki. This past week, so coming the start of this year, they were playing like 50% of the routes, right? This past week, they led the team in routes run. Gesicki ran 41, Hunter Henry ran 40, and then our boy Pop Douglas ran 39. So they switched over with Kendrick Bourne out to this new heavy tight end situation. If that holds, we might switch. But Cade Otton already does play the whole game, so he's probably the guy.
All right. So Grumpy Sports Fans got a series of comments here. Wants to trade for a number one wide receiver. He's eyeballing Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay.
Which, solid. But I'll just say it right here. He's got David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs on his roster. So right off the bat, are you a Detroit Lions fan? Because if you're starting Montgomery and or Jahmyr Gibbs, the last thing you want to do is overinvest in one team. And so maybe you should set a different target, or, trade Monty and, trade Monty and Gibbs. Just give the whole backfield and get Amon-Ra and maybe like another piece in there.
Right.
Like, I just don't want to overlook. I hate, it was like somebody was just asking about, like, they've got Breece Hall and, like they're trying to trade for Garrett Wilson. There has not been a single person in the history of the universe, or I'll just go in the last 20 years, who has ever won a fantasy league stacking Jets. Never. So, like, stacking Lions, especially players who are counterproductive to each other, because think about it. If Monty is rushing for multiple touchdowns, Amon-Ra is not catching those touchdowns. If Jahmyr Gibbs is getting work, Montgomery's not getting work. If Jahmyr Gibbs is getting work in the passing game, those targets are not going to Amon-Ra St. Brown. So right. I don't want to. I don't want to do this. He's asking about trading Eckler and Addison for Amon-Ra St. Brown, which is
that's too much,
crazy overpay.
Yeah, and then you're just gonna start. That means his RB1 is Dave Montgomery, and his RB2 is Jahmyr Gibbs,
and you're gonna start Amon-Ra St. Brown. That makes no sense.
Yeah, it's too much. Overdoing it.
Can't do it. All right, here we go. 12-team Superflex PPR. I was offered Swift for Dobbs. However, on my roster, Hurts, I got DeVito and Wentz. So he's got Hurts, DeVito, and Wentz on his roster in a Superflex league.
So
he was offered Swift for Dobbs. No, keep Dobbs.
Keep Dobbs, yeah.
What
are you going to do with DeVito and Wentz, dude?
Yeah.
I would start Swift over DeVito or Wentz, right?
Dude, I would start Cade Otton in my Superflex over Tommy DeVito.
Josh
and
Dobbs,
Carson Wentz.
Can't trade. Josh Dobbs is an American hero. Can't trade him right now.
No.
Can't trade Josh Dobbs right now.
Would you trade Chris Olave and Kyron Williams for Justin Jefferson?
Oh, this is our boy Chaka.
Chaka.
I think I would dude, PPR, other RBs with those running backs, I would, dude. Just go big. Go crazy. Try and win the league, brother.
Rod Elliott wants to know Alexander Madison or Deonta Foreman PPR.
Madison. I mean, Cam Akers for sure is Achilles, so it's Madison.
Yeah. All right. Sean Canian's in here. He loves you, Coop. I get an end Howard with like a kind of a thing. All right. Well, thanks, Sean.
I think Coop, the greatest guy in the whole wide world.
I think that's right, Burns. I think that. Where's the shout out for Burns, Sean? Yeah, we're doing our best, Sean. We're doing our best, and I know you like the rest of you guys. Hit me up on Twitter if you have questions. We don't get them in the chat. I do my best to answer them all. Sometimes, like last week when I just had Jets fans in all my mentions, I lose track of some of the questions. You know.
All right. Well, here we go because we got a couple of minutes left here. Rapid fire, Coop. I only want answers. I don't want explanations. Do you understand?
I've never been good at this, but I will.
I
try.
know you're never good.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Let's go. Let's do it.
PPR 2 flex. How comfortable are you with Higgins' situation? If not, bench 2. Sit DK, Jacoby, Amari Cooper, or Deonta Foreman.
Sit Foreman and Higgins.
Okay. Odd one here. Cole Kmet or Gabe Davis at the flex?
Cole Kmet.
Who should I bench between Dell, Addison, Foreman, or Pollard?
I would bench Addison.
Addison, yes.
Yeah.
Drop Otten for McBride and play this week? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Since I'm 9-0, should I play Khalil Herbert and take the goose egg? No. Never. Or should I drop Khalil Herbert and try to get Tajay Spears on waivers in 2 days? I mean, I don't want to drop Khalil Herbert. He's just coming back, but I'm not going to start him. You don't have anybody else to
How in the world has that happened? What has happened?
I don't know how that happens with a 9-0 team. Need 2 in PPR. Roshan, Moss, Damian Pierce, or Robert Woods?
Well, it's probably going to be – you got to start Roshan tonight because Damian Pierce and Robert Woods, as far as I know, have not practiced all week.
Correct. DPJ or Mingo?
Mingo.
PPR 8 team. I've got Gabe Davis in one of my 2 flex spots. I'm thinking of using Dalton Kincaid in the flex and putting Davis on the bench. Yes or no?
It's absolutely.
Yeah,
Kincaid had 10 catches last week, and Gabe Davis had what? 1?
Yeah. Need 2. Pitts, Kmet, McBride.
Kmet and McBride.
Miles Sanders or Tajay Spears?
Tajay Spears.
Taysom Hill, Chuba Hubbard, or Gabe Davis?
I'm going Chuba. It's his job.
Last one here from Grumpy Sports Fan. Montgomery and Gibbs for Amon Ra and Jerome Ford? Yes. That's the deal to make.
You did it.
That's the way you do it, baby.
We did it. Hey, rapid fire. We made it through. I was holding my tongue. I had so much to say.
Cool. Come on. Right there. There it is.
And we went to the right side on the fist bump for the first time ever.
We didn't even balk at that one.
We've been doing this way too long, dude. Yeah. So hey. Let's go.
All right,
dude.
Don't forget tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page, which you are liking and subscribing to. Andrew Cooper and John Impemba going to take you right up to lineup lock for Thursday Night Football. I've got a betting article, a confidence pool article, and a sleeper picks article as well, all over at fantasyalarm.com. So thank you to Brian Burns, sort of. Big thank you to Andrew Cooper. Always. I'm Howard Bender. This has been Alarm Fantasy Football. We'll catch you next time.
I love and respect Brian Burns.